So as you guys said, you guys both work in the arts. Tell us a little bit about your art, your medium, and your formation and work as artists.
Yeah, for me, sometime like when I was a student in Vancouver, it was all learning about international artists, learning about the art world and how we can learn from them and the masters. But at the end, it was all about finding your personal style and trying to find why are you making art and where you come from. And it was very hard being the only Mennonite, like here the word Mennonite comes out again, in the school in that time. And I was embarrassed to even mention that I came from a small community. So I tried to hide it and fake it and paint. Well, I learned amazing new techniques and skills. But now that I'm back in here in Cuauhtemoc, I'm attracted to finding the roots of the arts here. And it's just a starting point, not something I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to do art that's my art, but I want to find a path. Why art is not taught in schools here, why is art not considered important. It's just something that you call numiatan, which is imitating. There's no thought of the original and why you make art. And ceramics is very functional. I love it. It's therapeutic for me most of the time. And painting is, I'm trying to paint some of my culture these days. And as far as the formation, art really changed me, and it took the religious views away, and it, like Raúl says, it just makes you a human. And in this world, in the universe, who are you? And of course, all these things, and the religion has formed you as well, and made you into a person. And art just helped me look to see what is necessary, and that I can respect my heritage and why it's so strong in religion. But what can I keep and I don't need, and to be more universal as well within a very religious community. And that seems that the art has the power to lay a foundation to be confident about that, about decision making, and not question why is nobody else doing what I'm doing. I don't need the validation of that necessarily. Because art has a great way to, art is art. It's like Albrecht Dürer once said that God was an artist and he created, and that all artists could feel like they were gods because they can create. Obviously not measuring up to the creator, but that you understand a lot more about the reasons of this world, and that it's all our elements and materials, and we're all the same. Color doesn't matter. And cultural beliefs neither, but they're just localized. And that we have to be above it to work together, not against each other.
Well, when I was a kid, I was a nerd. A totally chubby nerd. So I was always inside of the classroom, and I had asthma. So I was always in the classroom. I couldn't have the exercise with the other kids. So I stayed there. I was always drawing and drawing and painting and drawing, and I love it. And I was also listening to classical music, because that was the music my father used to listen. He still listens. It's the only music he likes. Classical music. And I grew up with that, with classical music. And also my father, he used to paint. He was a very good painter. But as a doctor, he couldn't continue with it. So I grew up with oiled paint as a kid, and I touch it, and it was like normal for me.
Yeah.
In a phase of my childhood.
Yeah.
And then when I was at high school, it was a Christian high school, so they told us not to listen to this music, rock music, because it's from the devil, and it has bad lyrics and all that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, but why is it from the devil? Why is bad?
Yeah.
So instead of getting away from that music, that I embrace it even more.
Yeah.
Not to be like the black sheep about it, but because I was in a really, I had a real interest in why is it bad.
Yeah.
So I like it even more.
Yeah.
And I always, I think there's not a day, well, some days, but I'm always listening to rock music, metal music, and all kind of music, but more metal music.
Yeah.
And metal music take me to read more.
Yeah.
To learn about, well, not to learn, to look for answers.
Yeah.
And that take me to metaphysics and all that stuff and religion, because the hard rock bands always talk about, well, not always, but a lot of them talk about the devil and God and all that.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, what's the deal with this? And I start to read about religion and the Catholic Church and the Christians, and I studied about the Pope and all the wars because of the religion and all that. So I opened my eyes, and I still had that feeling about create things, because I was always drawing. And when I was like 11 years old, I discovered photos, the camera, and I started to take some photos. And when I was at the university, well, I always thought that I was going to be a veterinarian because of my love of the animals. But I realized that I had to do something with my drawing and all the stuff. So I studied graphic design, and there I learned more about photographic, and I continue with it, and I love it, and I learn more about art history there, and I read more and more, and I open my eyes even more, and I get away even more from religion, and I had a phase where when I got, ¿cómo se dice? Me alejé de mi familia, because well, like, of course I was also like a teenager, but more like founding myself, searching for myself. So me alejé de ellos. And finally, I found myself after I had a huge mistakes. But I found myself with art. I calm. I embrace a lot of good values. And here I am doing some documentary works, projects with photo. I got away from graphic design. I still love graphic design, but it's not my thing. I love editorial design. That helps with my projects, but it's what I do, photos, and I have some exhibitions in galleries and museums in Mexico and the US and Spain. And I have traveled a lot because of art. So art has helped me a lot in a lot of ways. It opened my eyes first from things that now that I know that is bad in the system, and it opened my opportunity to travel around the world. I know a lot of countries because of that, and it shows me that I can express myself, what I think, what I believe that is right with art, and also art bring me to the person that I love.